Hello, this is Colton Bland. I'm going to be discussing the report today by Dr. Sarav Dutta titled Forensic Analytics and Management Accountants. So as an overview of the topic, I'm going to discuss what is fraud, why does it occur, and what we are able to do to help prevent and detect it. So according to the 6th edition of Fraud Examinations by Albrecht, and Zimbelman, fraud is easily defined as tricking someone out of their assets. According to the ACCT 2020 report to the nations, certified fraud examiners estimate that approximately 5% of organizations' revenue is lost to fraud. This can be either through asset misappropriation, which is the most common form of fraud, or financial statement fraud. While that does occur less often, it is more costly to the organization as a whole. So why is fraud committed? There are many reasons why fraud could be committed. Dr. Sarav Dutta does explain many of these as listed here. Some examples of it could be just meeting market earnings expectations, wanting the share price to increase, or misappropriating assets for personal gain. As you can see, not every reason why fraud is committed is for the person to steal for themselves. A lot of times it is to increase the value of the company so that they're able to defraud investors into investing in them. For most cases of fraud, the person that is committing the fraud needs to have 3 attributes to commit it. This includes pressures or incentives, an opportunity to commit the fraud, and a rationalization of why it's okay to commit the fraud. This is called the fraud triangle. The company is not able to really change anything when it comes to the pressures or incentives. This is usually based off of an employee wanting to live outside of their own means or having large debt is what causes the pressure or incentive. The part where the company is able to make a large impact is on the opportunities to commit fraud. They're able to create internal controls and maintain those that will help deter fraud from occurring. In regards to the rationalization, especially for first-time fraudsters, they need to rationalize it to themselves as to why committing the fraud is okay. If the company improves their hiring process by making sure that they hire very ethical employees, this will make the rationalization process, or it'll deter the aspect of fraud occurring through rationalization to be a lot less. So Dr. Sarav Dutta explains that detecting and preventing fraud is a shared responsibility. Management's responsibility in this is to set the tone at the top and to create and maintain internal controls. The Board of Directors Audit Committee, their responsibility is to also set the tone at the top, as well as to bring expertise into that specific industry. Management accountants have a very important role in detecting and deterring fraud from occurring. This is mainly by reviewing the financials, seeing if there's any unusual deviations that could be because of fraud. Most people are under the misconception that external auditors will detect the fraud if it is occurring. This is not always the case. External auditors, their main responsibility is to see that the financial statements are not materially misstated. If they find fraud or detect fraud along the way, then they will report that, of course, but usually according to the ACCT 2020 report to the nations, the main reason why fraud is detected is through tips. About 43% of the time, tips is the reason why fraud is detected. Internal audits and management reviews are also common ways. External audits only detect 4% of fraud. And to put that into perspective, 5% of fraud is detected by accident. So in conclusion, no matter how hard we try to plan to prevent fraud, there's always a chance that fraud will happen in our company or in our organization. But with great management and management accountants, we will be able to prevent fraud from happening or to be able to detect it quicker. Thank you.